Look at your bank account, right now. The number you see isn't just a cold fact, it's a mirror. It shows who you are deep inside, not your skills or how hard you work, but something more personal, your money identity. What if the reason you haven't reached your next money goal isn't because you need more tips or tricks? What if the real block is the person you believe yourself to be? You don't have a money problem. You have an identity crisis. Think about waking up tomorrow feeling sure, deep in your bones, that you deserve to make millions. Not just saying it out loud, but truly believing it. How would you act different? What people would you talk to? What chances would you see that you miss now? We all know people who work super hard, but stay stuck. Maybe that's you. The endless hustle, always learning new things, doing all the right steps, all good things, all needed, but somehow not enough. You've watched others with half your talent and way less work sail past money blocks that feel like brick walls to you. Why does this happen? Your bank account shows your identity ceiling. The most money you truly believe fits who you are. Go past that limit, and you start to mess things up without knowing why. You forget to send a bill. You miss a big chance. You damage a good relationship. You can't close an easy sale. This isn't just head stuff. It's the hidden script running your money life. Every day, you live out a money story written years ago, often by voices that weren't even yours. Parents who told you money is hard to get or dirty to want. Teachers who hinted that wealth is for other people. TV shows that made you think good people stay poor. The worst part? You enforce this ceiling yourself. You're both the prisoner and the guard of your money limits. Until we break open this identity vault, no strategy, no side hustle, no investment will give you the breakthrough you want. What if, instead of trying to earn more, you became the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth just by being yourself? Think about the last time you hurt your own money chances. Maybe you put off sending that proposal. Maybe you charged too little. Again, even after promising yourself, never again. Or maybe you spent sudden cash on something you've already forgotten instead of investing it. In that moment, your money identity was talking. Not with words, but with actions. The real cost isn't just the money you lost, but how your sense of what's possible shrinks bit by bit. Each time you hit your invisible ceiling, a voice inside whispers, "See, this is who you really are. This is what you're really worth." The mental damage grows faster than any interest rate. Doubt piled on doubt, building the walls of your money prison higher. Your small choices aren't just costing you dollars, they're stealing your future. But the cost to your relationships cuts even deeper. How many times have you skipped dinners because it's not in the budget, while friends go on without you? How many times have you smiled and said, "Maybe next time," to family trips, home fixes, or things you really want? Each no chips away at your bonds, your joy, your place in the world. Take a breath. Feel that. The weight of all those times when you chose to stay small, not because you had to, but because it felt safer than growing. What about the dreams you've made smaller, so slowly you barely noticed? The vision board quietly changed. The someday house that became an if-only apartment. The impact you wanted to have, now just barely getting by. Who do you become when you keep saying no to your own growth? A smaller version of yourself. Someone who learns to want less, to need less, to expect less. Someone who makes money choices from fear rather than possibility. Someone who counts what they can afford instead of what they could create. You didn't fail at wealth. You succeeded at staying small. Maybe the most painful part is watching those who look up to you, kids, partners, friends, pick up these same limited beliefs. They're learning how to deal with money by watching you. What money identity are you passing on without meaning to? Who in your life gets uncomfortable when you grow? When you step into a bigger money identity, whose story about you gets messed up? And why do you still give them the power to write your money story? Drop a fire emoji if you felt that ceiling, that invisible wall between the wealth you want and the wealth your current identity allows. This fight between your current money reality and your possible abundance isn't new. The ancient philosopher Epictetus, who was once a slave but became one of history's greatest thinkers, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." But there's an important part modern people miss. Epictetus wasn't saying being poor is good. He was pointing out the mental prison that keeps most people stuck in money mediocrity. The money identity crisis runs deep in all of us. Think about the story of King Midas, a king who got the power to turn everything he touched into gold, only to find he couldn't eat, drink, or hug his loved ones without turning them into lifeless metal. This old story isn't warning against wealth itself, but against a twisted relationship with money. Your money story isn't just personal. It comes from your family tree. Our culture has twisted this wisdom, programming many of us to believe that struggling with money is good and having plenty is bad. This creates what the famous psychologist Carl Jung would call a shadow around money. The disowned parts of ourselves that still control how we act, even though we don't see them. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung wrote, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Your money fate, the mysterious ceiling on your income, the same patterns that keep showing up in your relationship with money, isn't fate at all. It's the shadow of your money identity showing up in your unconscious behaviors. Think about the coming-of-age ceremonies found in ancient cultures. When a young person became an adult, they didn't just learn new information, they changed who they were. The Maasai warrior wasn't taught to hunt. He became a hunter. The difference is huge. One is adding a skill, the other is a complete shift in who you are. You don't need another course, you need an initiation. Modern society has mostly dropped these identity-level changes, leaving us with empty information transfers. We learn about money without becoming someone new in relationship to it. We gather money strategies without shifting our money identity. It's like pouring new wine into old containers. The container can't hold the possibility. This explains why so many money seminars, books, and courses fail to permanently change people's financial lives. Information alone can't override identity. This is why someone can win the lottery and lose everything within years. Their sudden wealth went past their money identity, and their unconscious mind worked hard to bring things back to match their internal self-image. The philosopher Seneca, who was one of Rome's richest individuals, understood this when he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Seneca wasn't saying wealth is bad. He was pointing out how our relationship with having and wanting shapes our experience of abundance. Your money identity works like a thermostat in your home. You might temporarily heat up your finances through hard work, luck, or strategy, but unless the base setting changes, your behaviors will eventually cool things back to your identity set point. This insight gives both freedom and responsibility. The freedom comes from realizing your money ceiling isn't made of outside circumstances, but of self-image. The responsibility lies in the deep inner work needed to reset that thermostat. Work that's much harder than just learning another money strategy. Let's talk about the operator, that part of you in charge of managing your money identity. The operator isn't bad, but it hates change. Its main job is keeping who you believe yourself to be and the reality you experience in line with each other. When these fall out of sync, mental stress follows. This explains the weird money behaviors that have probably confused you, the raise you worked for but somehow messed up at the last minute, the client you pushed away when they were about to sign your biggest contract, the investment chance you put off until it disappeared. The operator was just doing its job, keeping your money identity the same. You didn't fail. You succeeded at being exactly who you thought you were. Look at how this shows up in your social life. Have you noticed how friendships can get tense when your money situation changes a lot? Or how family members might make little cutting comments when you reach a new level of success? These outside reactions mirror your inner operator's resistance to identity change. "You're not really that kind of person," the operator whispers. "You don't really belong with those people. This level of wealth isn't right for someone like you." The sneakiest part of this system is that it runs below your conscious awareness. You don't decide to self-sabotage. You just find yourself acting in ways that match your deep identity beliefs about money. Stop for a moment. Think about the last money decision you made that seemed smart at the time, but now feels like subtle self-sabotage. That wasn't random. That was your money identity protecting itself. Think about Maria, a freelance designer who always attracted clients with small budgets despite her amazing talent. Whenever premium clients approached her, she would somehow delay responses, make proposals too complicated, or show subtle behaviors that drove them away. Her conscious mind wanted these clients, but her money identity, shaped by a childhood where her family criticized rich people as bad, couldn't accept the self-image of someone who served wealthy clients. Or Michael, who grew up hearing his father say, "We're not the kind of people who have nice things." As an adult, whenever Michael saved up money, he would find emergencies that required spending his account down to a familiar, uncomfortable level. His money identity had a set point, and his behaviors automatically kept it there. You owe no explanation for expanding your money identity. You owe no explanation to those who benefit from your limitation. You owe no explanation to the outdated version of yourself. The change begins with a simple but deep question. Who would I be if wealth flowed to me as naturally as breathing? Not, what would I do or what would I have, but who would you be? This isn't about saying affirmations or manifesting. It's about identity archaeology, digging up the layers of belief that have piled up around money in your mind. Your wealth is buried beneath your beliefs. Start digging. Start by looking at the money stories you inherited. What did you learn about wealth from your family's actions, not just their words? What wealthy role models were missing from your early life? These gaps shape your money, self-image as powerfully as what was present. The relationship between identity and money reality works both ways. While your money identity shapes your money behaviors, you can also use behavior to reshape identity. This is embodiment, acting as if you already are the person with the expanded money self-concept. I'm not saying pretend to be rich when you're not. That's fake. I'm talking about making decisions from your future money identity rather than your current financial situation. What would someone with an unshakable seven-figure identity do differently in your exact situation? How would they spend their time? What conversations would they start? How would they price their services? What places would they go? The small daily decisions made from this expanded identity view gradually shift your money thermostat. Your outside reality doesn't change overnight, but your relationship to what's possible does. You owe no explanation for expanding your money identity. This bears repeating because guilt and social pressure often kill identity expansion before it gains momentum. Take a moment, breathe, let that sink in. The permission you've been waiting for isn't coming from outside, it's waiting inside you. One powerful insight comes when we fully grasp the money identity framework. Your current financial situation shows who you've been, not who you can become. Just as your body still shows your past eating and exercise habits. For a while, your finances reflect your past identity. The gap between identity shift and money results creates the waiting period where most people give up on the transformation. The wealth you seek already exists within the version of you that has grown beyond current limits. Your job isn't to chase money, it's to become the person for whom that level of prosperity naturally reflects who they are. It's time to face the money identity that's been running your financial life. This isn't comfortable. True identity work never is. But comfort never created change. Who are you pretending not to be when it comes to wealth? Most people focus on what they're trying to become, but the deeper question shows more. What wealthy identity are you actively pushing down? What version of yourself has been labeled too bold, too visible, too powerful to embody? There's a reason the wealthy version of you feels like a stranger. You've been actively disowning it through 1,000 tiny daily decisions. The slightly lower price you offer, the premium opportunity you don't pursue, the wealthy environment you avoid entering. These aren't random choices. They're identity maintenance behaviors. Your poverty isn't bad luck. It's a decision you make daily. What would happen if you stopped sabotaging your prosperity for just 1 week? If you priced at your true value? If you approached each opportunity as though you deserved it? If you walked into high net worth environments as though you belonged there? The answer is uncomfortable. You would experience identity crisis. The gap between who you've been and who you're becoming would create psychological turbulence. Your relationships would shift. Some people would pull away. Others would suddenly appear. Your inner story would struggle to make sense of the new data from your expanded financial capacity. This turbulence isn't a sign something's wrong. It's the necessary discomfort of transformation. The butterfly doesn't easily go from cocoon to flight. The change involves falling apart before rebuilding. You owe no explanation for expanding your money identity. To yourself, to others who benefit from your limitation, to the outdated version of yourself that feels safe in scarcity. Most stay financially limited not because abundance is hard to attain, but because they cannot bear the identity breakdown required to become someone new. They cling to financial mediocrity because it matches who they believe themselves to be. Stop and breathe again. Feel the weight of that truth. Your financial limitation was never about ability. It was about identity. Look at the wealthy individuals who inspire you. Their wealth isn't mainly a reflection of strategy or opportunity. It's a reflection of who they are. They don't have to force prosperity behaviors. Those actions flow naturally from their identity. They would feel deeply uncomfortable operating at your current financial level because it would violate their self-concept. Your financial breakthrough requires identity level change. No amount of tactical knowledge can override the basic truth that you will never outperform your self-concept. You will never earn much more than your money. Identity believes is right for someone like you. Who would you have to become to make 10 times your current income? Not what would you have to do, who would you have to be? The gap between that potential identity and your current self must be seen before it can be crossed. This gap isn't filled through information, but through progressive embodiment, daily practices that gradually integrate the expanded money identity. What parts of your current life support your limited money identity? What environments reinforce it? What relationships validate it? What routines maintain it? Each represents a choice point where transformation can begin. Your soul knows the answer to this question. What money identity have you been afraid to claim? The tragedy isn't missing your financial potential. It's deceiving yourself about who you truly are. The person capable of much greater wealth already exists within you, muted by fear, social conditioning, and the pull of the familiar. You owe no explanation for expanding your money identity. This truth becomes more powerful each time you absorb it. The permission to become who you're capable of being financially is not granted by others. It's claimed by you. The soul punch. You already are the wealthy person you're trying to become. Your current money identity is the fake one. Return to that first image, your bank account balance looking back at you. That number is about to change. Not because you've found some revolutionary wealth strategy, but because you're stepping into a money identity that makes your current financial reality impossible to maintain. The transformation we've explored isn't about getting more, it's about becoming more, expanding into the version of yourself for whom abundance is the natural, effortless state. You don't need to fix yourself, you need to find yourself. Remember Maria, the designer who unconsciously pushed away premium clients? Once she recognized her money identity conflict, she began a deliberate practice of embodying her expanded financial self-concept. She raised her rates, changed how she dressed for client meetings, restructured her portfolio to highlight premium work, and consciously sought environments where wealth was normal. The initial discomfort was intense. Friends questioned her. Family members made cutting remarks. Her own internal operator created anxiety and self-doubt. But she pushed through the identity turbulence, understanding it as evidence of transformation rather than warning. Within 6 months, her client list had completely transformed. Her income tripled. But the most profound change wasn't financial. It was her relationship to possibility itself. The expanded money identity opened doors she couldn't previously see. Or Michael, who broke free from his father's limiting story that we're not the kind of people who have nice things. His transformation began with the deliberate decision to keep his savings rather than unconsciously spending them down. Each time his account balance exceeded his previous psychological ceiling, he would consciously remind himself, "I am someone who easily maintains wealth." The initial discomfort was profound. His nervous system created anxiety as his reality conflicted with his long-held identity. But gradually, as his new actions reinforced his expanded identity, the dissonance resolved. His money thermostat reset at a higher level. Your wealth was never outside you. It was waiting for you to become its match. Your own transformation follows this same path. As you consciously embody your expanded money identity, making decisions as the wealthy person you're becoming, rather than from your current financial reality, your outside circumstances must eventually align with your internal self-concept. This alignment doesn't happen overnight. The lag between identity shift and financial manifestation tests your resolve. Many abandon the process during this gap, reverting to familiar limitation. But those who persist through identity turbulence discover an extraordinary truth. Wealth was never about having more, but about becoming more. Your expanded money identity isn't just about money. It's about stepping fully into who you're capable of being in every area. As your relationship with abundance transforms, your impact expands proportionally. The wealth you create becomes a vehicle for the contribution only you can make. You owe no explanation for expanding your money identity. You are simply becoming who you already are beneath the layers of limitation. The journey from poverty thinking to prosperity identity is the most profound transformation available to you, not because of what it will help you have, but because of who it will help you become. Comment below with, "I claim my prosperity identity." Make this statement not just as words typed on a screen, but as a commitment to the expanded version of yourself that already exists, waiting for recognition. If this money identity shift has hit home for you, we're just starting the journey together. In my next video, I'll show you the 5 daily embodiment practices that speed up the alignment between your expanded money identity and your financial reality. These aren't abstract exercises. They're concrete, practical rituals that rewire your relationship with wealth at the brain level. You'll discover the morning identity priming ritual that bypasses conscious resistance, the prosperity environment immersion technique that speeds up identity adoption, the wealth decision framework that eliminates unconscious self-sabotage, the relationship boundary system that protects your expanding identity, the financial congruence audit that identifies hidden identity conflicts. This money identity series builds step by step, each video expanding your ability to embody wealth consciousness in increasingly practical ways. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell to ensure you don't miss the critical next step in your transformation. Your next level of wealth isn't a strategy away, it's an identity shift away. The journey from where you are to where your expanded money identity can take you isn't a straight line. It's a spiral path of increasing alignment between who you're becoming and the wealth that naturally flows to that version of you. Each video in this series lights up another turn in that spiral. Your future self, the one already experiencing the financial abundance you're now claiming, is reaching back through time, offering guidance through these teachings. Subscribe now to continue receiving these signals from your prosperous future identity. The wealth you deserve is waiting not for more information, but for your decision to become the person who naturally attracts it. That decision begins now, continues in our next video, and unfolds throughout your transformation journey. In the quiet moments when you're alone with your thoughts, your money identity speaks its truth, not in the voice of want or lack, but in the whisper of recognition, the knowing that you were never meant for financial limitation. The discomfort you feel when thinking about wealth isn't fear of failure, but fear of becoming too big. Not fear of losing, but fear of becoming so expansive that you can no longer hide behind smallness. The universe doesn't reward need or grant wishes. It simply reflects identity back to its source. The wealth you seek has always been seeking you, waiting for you to become the person capable of receiving it. Your bank account will never exceed your self-concept. Your prosperity will never exceed your identity. Your income will never go much higher than what feels right for someone like you. But who decided who you are? Who wrote the money identity you've been living from? The most profound act of creation isn't building wealth. It's building the self that wealth naturally flows toward. In reclaiming authorship of your money identity, you reclaim the pen that writes your financial future. Perhaps the most haunting truth is this: the version of you that's financially free has existed all along, hidden by the shadows of limitation you mistook for reality. Your transformation isn't becoming someone new, but unveiling who you've always been beneath the masks of scarcity. What would change if you lived from the truth that abundance is your natural state? What if the wealth you seek is merely waiting for you to recognize yourself as its rightful keeper? The choice before you isn't whether to pursue prosperity, but whether to become the person for whom prosperity is the only possible reality. That choice echoes beyond money into every dimension of your existence, asking not what you want to have, but who you choose to be. Your silence wasn't peace, it was losing yourself. Your financial limitation isn't reality, it's identity in disguise.